Like many businesses struggling during the Great Depression, Hugo Boss joined the Nazi Party in 1931, a time when the economic landscape was bleak and many companies were on the brink of collapse. The decision to align with the Nazi Party was not just a political move, but a strategic business decision aimed at survival and growth. This alignment with the Nazi Party secured lucrative government contracts, which were essential for the company's financial stability. These contracts provided a steady stream of income and allowed Hugo Boss to expand its operations significantly. This alliance transformed the company's fate, turning it from a struggling business into a thriving enterprise. The influx of government contracts meant that Hugo Boss could invest in better machinery, hire more workers, and increase production capacity. Hugo Boss became a major supplier of uniforms for the Nazi Party organizations, including the infamous Sturmabteilung and Schutzstaffel. The company was responsible for producing the iconic black SS uniforms, which became a symbol of Nazi terror. The company outfitted the Sturmabteilung, the Schutzstaffel, the Hitler Youth, and other paramilitary groups that were instrumental in the Nazi rise to power. These uniforms were not just clothing, but a tool of propaganda, designed to instill fear and obedience. The uniforms produced by Hugo Boss were worn by those who carried out some of the most heinous acts of the Nazi regime. The company's role in outfitting these groups cannot be understated, as it played a part in the visual and psychological warfare waged by the Nazis. Historical expert, this period marked a turning point for Hugo Boss, shifting its production from workwear and raincoats to the sinister attire of the Third Reich. The company's focus on Nazi uniforms became its primary business, overshadowing its previous products. The shift in production was not just a change in product line, but a complete transformation of the company's identity. Hugo Boss became synonymous with Nazi uniforms, a legacy that would haunt the brand for decades to come. While the company profited from this association, it also indelibly linked its name to one of the darkest chapters in human history. The financial gains came at a moral and ethical cost that the company would struggle to reconcile in the years following the war. The scale of Hugo Boss's involvement in Nazi uniform production was significant. The company was one of the primary suppliers, producing thousands of uniforms that were worn by Nazi officials and soldiers. The company employed over 150 forced laborers, many of whom were prisoners of war and detainees from concentration camps. These individuals were subjected to harsh working conditions and had no choice but to work for the company. Many of these forced laborers were taken from concentration camps and were forced to work under inhumane conditions. They were given minimal food, worked long hours, and were subjected to brutal treatment. These individuals, subjected to inhumane conditions and forced labor, played a crucial role in fulfilling the demands of the Nazi regime. Their labor was essential in maintaining the production levels required by the Nazi government. This period remains a stain on the company's history, a dark chapter that cannot be erased. The involvement with the Nazi regime and the use of forced labor are aspects of Hugo Boss's past that continue to cast a shadow over its legacy. The ethical complexities intertwined with economic success during this period are a stark reminder of the moral dilemmas faced by businesses in times of political turmoil. The choices made by Hugo Boss during the Nazi era are a testament to the difficult balance between survival and ethical responsibility. Hugo Boss's wartime activities cast a long shadow, affecting the company's reputation for many years. The association with the Nazi regime and the use of forced labor are aspects of its history that the company has had to address and reconcile with in the post-war era. The story of Hugo Boss during the Nazi era raises uncomfortable questions about complicity, responsibility, and the role of businesses in times of political turmoil. It serves as a reminder of the potential consequences when companies prioritize profit over ethical considerations. The SS, in particular, were notorious for their stylish black uniforms, designed by Karl Dietrich and graphic designer Walter Heck. These uniforms were not just clothing, they were a powerful tool of psychological warfare. The sharp lines and stark black color were meant to project an image of authority and fear, making the SS officers appear almost inhuman and untouchable. These uniforms, often featuring the chilling skull and crossbones insignia, were intended to instill fear and obedience while promoting a sense of elite status within the Nazi hierarchy. The insignia itself was a symbol of death and destruction, a constant reminder of the power and ruthlessness of the SS. This visual representation of terror was a key element in maintaining control and suppressing dissent. Hugo Boss was responsible for manufacturing these uniforms using high-quality fabrics and tailoring techniques to ensure a sharp and intimidating appearance. The craftsmanship involved in creating these uniforms was unparalleled, with each piece meticulously designed to fit perfectly and exude an air of menace. This level of detail was not just about aesthetics, it was about creating a uniform that would psychologically dominate those who saw it. Fashion historian, the company's expertise in garment construction contributed to the effectiveness of the Nazi propaganda machine, which relied heavily on visual imagery to promote its message. The uniforms were a crucial part of this imagery, serving as a constant visual reminder of the power and control of the Nazi regime. The sleek, intimidating design of the SS uniforms played a significant role in the overall propaganda strategy, reinforcing the image of the Nazis as an unstoppable force. The iconic black SS uniform with its high collar and tailored fit became synonymous with the terror and brutality of the Nazi regime. The uniform was more than just clothing. It was a symbol of the regime's ideology and its commitment to absolute power. The high collar and tailored fit were designed to create an imposing silhouette, one that would strike fear into the hearts of anyone who saw it. The Hitler Youth uniforms, though less severe in appearance, were equally effective in promoting a sense of belonging and ideological indoctrination among young people. These uniforms were designed to create a sense of unity and purpose, making the young members feel like they were part of something larger than themselves. The design of the uniforms was carefully crafted to appeal to the youth with a focus on creating a sense of pride and loyalty to the Nazi cause. These uniforms, produced in large numbers by companies like Hugo Boss, played a crucial role in normalizing Nazi ideology and creating a culture of fear and obedience. The mass production of these uniforms ensured that the Nazi message reached every corner of society, from the youngest members to the most senior officials. The uniforms were a constant reminder of the regime's power and control, reinforcing the idea that there was no escape from the Nazi ideology. The meticulous attention to detail in their design and production highlights the importance placed on aesthetics in the Nazi regime's quest for power and control. Every aspect of the uniforms, from the fabric to the insignia, was carefully chosen to create a specific image and convey a particular message. This focus on aesthetics was not just about looking good. It was about creating a visual representation of the regime's power and authority. Hugo Boss's contribution to this effort, however unintentional, cannot be ignored. The company's expertise in garment construction and design played a significant role in creating the visual imagery that was so crucial to the Nazi propaganda machine. While the company may not have intended to support the regime, its role in producing these uniforms had a lasting impact on the way the Nazi regime was perceived. The company's role in manufacturing these potent symbols of oppression serves as a stark reminder of the ways in which fashion can be co-opted for political purposes. The uniforms produced by Hugo Boss were more than just clothing. They were a tool of psychological warfare used to instill fear and obedience in the population. This use of fashion for political purposes is a powerful reminder of the impact that clothing can have on society and the ways in which it can be used to manipulate and control. The Nazi aesthetic, often characterized by clean lines, bold geometry, and a limited color palette, was meant to evoke a sense of classical antiquity and evoke feelings of national pride and superiority. This visual strategy was meticulously crafted to create a powerful and cohesive image that resonated deeply with the German populace. The architecture, posters, and even the uniforms were all designed to project an image of strength, order, and a return to a glorified past. This manipulation of aesthetics was central to the Nazis' propaganda machine. The regime understood the power of visuals in shaping public perception and used it to their advantage. Massive rallies, grandiose architecture, and carefully designed symbols all played a part in creating a narrative of invincibility and destiny. By associating themselves with images of power and beauty, the Nazis aimed to legitimize their ideology and seduce the German population into compliance. The regime's use of art and design was not merely decorative, but deeply ideological, embedding their values and beliefs into the very fabric of everyday life. This approach made their ideology seem not only acceptable, but desirable. Historical expert Hugo Boss's uniforms, with their emphasis on quality and tailoring, played directly into this strategy. The uniforms were more than just clothing, they were a statement of power and precision. The meticulous design and high-quality materials used in these uniforms were intended to convey the superiority of the Nazi regime. The sharp, imposing appearance of the SS uniforms in particular contributed to their aura of power and intimidation. These uniforms were designed to instill fear and respect, making the SS officers appear as the ultimate enforcers of Nazi ideology. The stark black color and severe lines of the SS uniforms were a visual representation of the regime's ruthless efficiency. The Hitler Youth uniforms, while less severe, were designed to instill a sense of pride and belonging among young people. These uniforms were part of a broader strategy to indoctrinate the youth, making them feel like an integral part of the Nazi future. The design of these uniforms was intended to be appealing to young people, fostering a sense of unity and purpose. The use of specific colors, such as the brown shirts of the SA and the black uniforms of the SS, further reinforced the Nazis' message of racial purity and Aryan supremacy. Each color and design choice was deliberate, aimed at creating a visual hierarchy that mirrored the regime's ideological beliefs. The brown shirts symbolized the early, more chaotic days of the Nazi movement, while the black SS uniforms represented the regime's ultimate vision of order and control. By controlling the visual landscape, the Nazi regime sought to control the minds of its citizens, using aesthetics as a tool of manipulation and control. The regime's ability to shape public perception through visual means was a testament to their understanding of the power of imagery. Every aspect of public life was carefully curated to reinforce the Nazi ideology, from the grandiose architecture to the everyday propaganda posters. Hugo Boss's involvement in this system, while driven by economic necessity, demonstrates how easily fashion can be co-opted for political purposes, highlighting the ethical complexities inherent in the industry. The collaboration between fashion and politics during this period serves as a stark reminder of the potential for design to be used as a tool of oppression. It raises important questions about the responsibilities of designers and the ethical implications of their work in times of political turmoil. However, the company's past association with the Nazi regime cast a long shadow, impacting public perception and hindering its growth. As Germany grappled with its wartime legacy, Hugo Boss faced increasing scrutiny for its role in equipping the SS and other Nazi organizations. The use of forced labor, a dark chapter in the company's history, also came under investigation. Ethics professor, this period was marked by a sense of denial and silence, as many German companies, including Hugo Boss, sought to distance themselves from their wartime activities. However, the weight of history proved too heavy to ignore. The emergence of survivor testimonies and the growing awareness of the atrocities committed during the Holocaust forced German society and Hugo Boss to confront the uncomfortable truths of the past. This process of reckoning was painful and complex, marked by public outcry, legal battles, and a deep sense of collective guilt. Hugo Boss's journey through this period reflects the broader challenges faced by Germany as it sought to atone for its past and rebuild its image on the world stage.